started. Welcome everyone, and to those who are watching this recording, welcome. Feel free to share this video. This one is one that I want to make sure goes out to as many people as we possibly can get it to, because I believe that this topic is one of the things that will change families and break chains for generations to come. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right in. I'm going to tell you what this program is, and then we're going to jump into the meat of this lesson. And I'm going to go pretty fast because I want to keep it to, between 30 and 40 minutes. So our Real and Slim program is a weight loss program. It's designed to target emotional reasons that we go to food to get comfort, and then we do belief work because beliefs create emotions and emotions create actions. So we go to the source and we erase and replace those beliefs with something that serves you better, thus creating a slim down effect. And I have habits that I teach you. I will be teaching you. This goes in this starting next week. We're starting at lesson 1, and we're going to do 12 lessons in a rotation. And every rotation is going to be a little bit different because I don't like to get bored. I'm not going to be able to just stick with doing the same thing over and over again. So you'll want to come back again and again, and this is something that you can share with your friends. We want these videos to go out to everyone so that we can get our message out there and get a movement happening where we're eradicating eating disorders and obesity and these kind of things, and really targeting those emotional and belief things that are causing a lot of these problems. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody really quick before I get too much further into this. All right. Oops, I want to go back one slide. I'm going to go into this. Thank you for bearing with me. So let's see. I need to minimize a couple of little things for myself. So we're teaching these free classes, and we give all of the knowledge away, and we're providing intensive daily support to hold your hand. So our programs are all about this support. We want to hold your hand with, this may be the toughest layer removal of your life because you're starting at the source. So if you want help, if you want the support, and you're finding that these free slim down classes just aren't cutting it for you, and you find that you are thinking that you can't, or it's just too hard, things like that, go ahead and visit realandslim.com and ask for a one-on-one chat with me or one of my coaches, and we'll help you figure out if one of our programs is right for you. Okay, so today we're talking about belief responses, and I have a popcorn analogy that earned me the nickname Mrs. Dreamseed. It's a really great way to illustrate to you the way our beliefs affect our results. So I'm really, really excited about this. I developed this analogy about, it's been like 11 years ago now, when I was working with people to create an article marketing system and to market themselves in order to be able to get their message out to the world. So what I came across was that people would call me and we'd be on the phone for a long time every day. I would be spending a lot of time. This is one of the reasons I sold that business, because I couldn't figure out how to manage that. But I did develop this analogy in order to help them understand what was getting in their way and why they felt like they needed to be on the phone talking with me in order to get feeling better, because they were focusing on the story instead of getting deep and focusing on what was creating the story. So that's what we're talking about here. Here are the elements of this analogy. You've got the kernel, and that represents the inspiration that comes to you, an idea, something you want to do. You got the popcorn popper, and that's you. You are the popcorn popper. You're not the popcorn. Make sure you don't think of yourself as the popcorn, because you're the one with the power to do something. You're the one who can plug in and make something happen with that idea. So you're the popcorn popper. The plug is the choice, and the power source that you plug that plug into is a higher power where you get clear and you tap into intuition, and you really just get clear on what you need to do and get yourself out of the way. The perfect temperature of air is your pure belief without conflict. and no doubt. And the minutes in the heat is a gestation period, and that's a really important thing. And I'll tell you, I've got this piece of my analogy that I call the late bloomer, and I might need a reminder because I forgot to put it in my notes, but I really want to talk about the late bloomer because I really believe that it's important. But let's go over the possible outcomes that we may be noticing in our results as we put this idea into our popper and go forward and try to do the things that are coming to us. And that might be just the slim down. That might be just eating only when you're hungry, stopping when you're satisfied instead of getting yourself so full that you need to roll yourself over to the couch. It could be just making sure you stop eating at 7. These are things that you may be having a hard time with. So these are the ideas. These are the things that you have felt at some point are going to work for you in order to create a result that you want. So that would be your slim down. That would be your peace in your heart. So the first result is that you may create a cold seed. So this happens when you get the idea, you get excited, you plug into your power source, and then you quit. And when you do that to a popcorn kernel, if you get it hot and then you turn off the heat, it kills the seed. You have to start completely over. That seed is dead. It will never pop. So this is when you don't allow the whole gestation period to complete and bring the whole thing into fruition. You have to make sure you're sticking with it and allowing that gestation period to be whatever it's going to be. And this goes to the late bloomer as well. So that's going to be the last one I talk about. But it's a really big deal. You've got to allow that gestation period, and you can't put a time frame on it because every seed is different. The other one is burnt seed. If you burn a seed, it's dead. If you turn the heat up too hot and you apply impatience to your process, then the seed can't pop. That temperature has to be perfect. It has to be that pure belief. And if you get impatient, the thing that you'll notice if you look at yourself, you're probably feeling some fear. You're probably saying, if I don't do this, I'm going to be this unhealthy or whatever, if this is a money thing for you. And if you notice, money things really reflect on how we're accepting ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. So if it's a money thing and you turn up the impatience, you're probably going to burn your seed just out of fear. So make sure you're not applying fear to your seed because you don't want to burn it. That seed will never pop again. You have to start over on that one too. The half popped. This is when you turn off the heat right as it starts to pop. And a lot of people will do this out of, fear will come up. They're tired. They just don't think they can do it anymore. This is self-doubt. I'm looking at myself and my experience with other people. They get scared of having hope because the hope feels like a little too much. And you don't know if you can do this one more day. It just got hard. And so you eat when you shouldn't. And when you know it's not going to benefit you. Now, when I say you eat when you shouldn't, this is going into other lessons that we've already covered, but when we shouldn't eat is when we know it's going to put the more layers of fat on because our body responds to the food differently when we're hungry than when we're not hungry. And if we're eating when we're not hungry, it's putting away a store of fat. So when I say eat when you shouldn't, that's what I'm talking about because your goal is to have a slim down. So the emotional reasons why we put food in our mouth really matters. Don't give up. No half-popped seeds. Get all the way to your goal. Get all the way to your total whole body health, whole soul health. Then we have a fully popped seed. This is when you took it all the way, you allowed the full gestation period, and that popcorn popped all the way. You got to your goal. This is when you share it and make some more. This is like celebration time. Woohoo! Now you get to really enjoy what you've created. And then we have burnt popcorn. You've created the popcorn. It's fabulous. It's ready. and then you leave it in the heat because you're afraid. And this is where it gets like fear of success right here. Fear of, for me, when I got to a size 8, I got all the way to my size 6, and then somebody called me sexy, and that really triggered me. I wasn't allowed to present myself to the world that way, and I really, really, really had a hard time with that, and I put weight back on. I specifically went out of my way to get myself to put weight back on, and I didn't realize I was doing it. I caught myself when I got to a size 8 again, and I went, what am I doing? So there are things like this that, you know, that's burning my popcorn. I reached my goal, and then something happened that freaked me out inside my heart, and it showed up physically. Well, and then I addressed that and got back down. You know, I got to my ideal weight again, or my ideal size again. But if you get scared of your success, or you get selfish with it and you don't want to share it, or some other way of sabotaging yourself, whatever it is that you do, maybe going back to the old habits of anxiety and depression and emotional eating, those kind of things, all of that represents burnt popcorn. If you reached your goal and then you yo-yo, that's the burnt popcorn. Okay, so this week, let's go over, I remember I was like afraid I was going to forget. When the gestation period needs to be longer for your seed. This is the late bloomer. This is how I'm going to tell the story of how I learned about the late bloomer. It was kind of cool. I was making popcorn. I have an air popper. And I had a baby back then. My oldest daughter was just 1. And I put the popcorn in and I let it go into the bowl. And right when it was finished and I needed to unplug it, something happened and she like got hurt or something. And I had to walk away from the popper, and I'm like, it's fine. And I just left it on, and there were a couple of kernels still rattling around in there. And I was away from that popper for at least 60 seconds. I think it was longer. It was not like 5 minutes or anything, but it was at least 60 seconds. And when I came back over to the popper, right as I walked up, it was a whole minute longer than all the other ones. And it popped, and it was humongous. It was beautiful and fabulous, and I was really excited about it because it represented to me that sometimes popcorn is different. Every kernel is different. And every kernel gets to have its own gestation period. And how many times do we turn off the popper because all the rest of the kernels popped and we don't realize that those seeds aren't duds? They just needed a little bit longer. So make sure that you're treating every seed like an individual, like it needs an individual gestation period, and don't quit on it. If you felt like it was right in the first place, then it was probably right for the whole gestation period. Okay, so this week's assignment, go ahead and grab some paper and write this down. This week's assignment is to write down all of the obvious ways that you see that you have popped up any of these different kinds of results in your life, and take ownership for them. No blaming somebody else. I have plenty of my own experiences that I could have blamed somebody else for me stopping doing something, but the fact is I bought into it, so I'm responsible. So make sure you're never blaming anybody else for your results. Write those down and just notice. And now we're going to go through a butterfly process, and I'm just going to open this up so I can see everyone. And I'm going to invite you to get grounded. I'd love to be able to see you still, so don't close your camera off so I can't see you. All right. If you'll put your feet flat on the floor and put your hands in your lap. Put your palms up. This is symbolic of being open and willing to receive. And through the top of your head, visualize a purple conduit of light going all the way to your source. Now through this conduit of light, you'll receive every perfect bit of inspiration for this moment for you. Every color that you need to see and notice. Every bit of light shining. All the details that you need for right now. Just breathe that in. And just trust. Now I invite you to envision yourself walking through a neighborhood. It's your favorite kind of neighborhood. It's perfect. You notice the temperature is perfect. Like the perfect day. You love this temperature. It's your favorite. Then you look up at the sky and you notice that it's exactly how you love to see it. And then you smell something lovely. And you look over to the right side of the road and you notice that there are a bunch of flowers, like a little field of flowers over here on the side of the road. It's so pretty. And it smells so good. And you notice some movement around the flowers and you get a little closer and you notice that there are a myriad of different butterflies, just all different shapes and sizes, floating around and just gliding around these flowers and landing and getting a drink, and then moving on to the next flower. And you just are marveling at how beautiful they all are, all the different sizes. I mean, some have smaller wings than others. And they're all different shapes. And they're all different colors, and they're all so beautiful. And you start thinking about how that's kind of like people. These butterflies are just going from flower to flower to take care of their own need. And as they do that, in this graceful way, they're pollinating. They're bringing an influence to the world around them, and they're doing it just by being themselves. And you start thinking of yourself as a butterfly. And you look down and you notice that, wow, you're a butterfly. And you look at your tummy and you think, yeah, butterflies don't really look at their wings. They probably just look down and notice their brown fuzzy tummy. And I invite you to note your feelings as you look at yourself this way. Do you feel common, overlooked, or do you feel excited because you know you're a butterfly? And you're getting excited about taking a look at those wings. Don't look at those wings quite yet. I invite you to just feel the emotion that comes up for you when you anticipate taking a look at who you really are. And when we get done with this butterfly process, I invite you to write all of the things down that come to you. Now, after you take note of how you feel about looking, go ahead and turn your head and look at your wings. How big are they? Are they packed away in a backpack? Are they wrinkled? Do they have a band of black going around the outside, keeping your light from shining? If they're boxed up in some way, I invite you to take them out and let them be free. If they have a black band around the outside that keeps your light from shining as brightly as you know it should. If that's astonishing to you that your light's not shining out any further than 10 or 15 feet from your body, when you know it should be shining out and affecting the whole world. Grab that band of black and just pull it off like it's a piece of tape. Wad it up in your hands and throw it up in the air, and it's going to just disappear. Poof. And I invite you to notice how far your light goes out now, when you're not letting anything get in the way. No doubt, no fear, just being you and feeling beautiful and accepting who you are and the influence that you're here to bring. I invite you to breathe that in. And when we're done, write down all the colors that you note in your wings. The movement of the color, if there is any. The light and the color of the light that shines off of you. And just write all this down. There's symbolism in all of it. And I invite you to say to yourself now, and say it out loud, I accept me. I accept my wings. They're beautiful. Now I invite you to open your eyes. And just let this sit with you. And remember that if you write this down in detail, you'll be able to walk yourself through it again. And things may change and enhance. And write those things down too. And please remember that if you do this program with just to lose weight in mind, that you might get frustrated. It's very likely. But if you do this because you love you and you want to show up as your best butterfly without wrinkled wings and without tape around the edges, then all of these habits you take on and you're healthier. They're designed to help you become healthier, and you can teach them to your children. And you do everything that you do because you love you and you want to break the chains and pass that along to future generations. Okay. So if you're trying our eating habits and our other catalysts that we recommend, like the video journaling, and you find that you're struggling to make it work on your own, please reach out to me or one of my coaches. You can do that by going to realandslim.com and just fill out the form, and we'll make sure somebody gets in touch with you. I'm going to open this up to Q&A. We do have a few minutes left, and I would love any questions or if anybody has something that they want to share about their butterfly process and how they're feeling. I'm just going to unmute everyone, and you just pipe up when you want to share. Does anybody have anything they want to share? I'm interested in hearing what color your wings were, Rhett. Do you want to share?
Sure.
Okay.
I think for first viewing it, it was more of a dull color. But as you talked about the tape and pulling it off, changed to more of a gold color on the inside that turned white as it emanated out and just reached out
How
to
far out?
everybody.
How far out did that light go? Did you notice if it went around a city, around a world?
I wasn't really paying attention to that.
Ah. So next time you walk yourself through this, notice how far your influence, when you're grounded and you're letting that come to you, how far your influence is designed to go. Cool. You have beautiful wings. Kind of a girly thing in my mind, but I find that, there are boy butterflies. Thank you for sharing. Erica, I am curious about your wings.
Let's see.
Comfortable piping up?
Oh yeah, my audio is on. Okay. So my wings, I wanted to see like a rainbow of colors, but the only ones that really came to me were red and like a dark purple.
Cool.
And they were shimmery because I have sparkles. And, I saw, there was something covering my wings because I identified really, really well with the burned popcorn. And the light, once I took off the cover, once I pulled that off, then I saw like white light and maybe gold. It was just shimmery because I like sparkles. And it was shining out to the whole world.
Mine shimmer
like
too.
All of them. What's that?
Mine shimmer too.
Totally good.
Yay for sparkles.
Yeah. So.
Wow, beautiful. And to the whole world.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you for sharing. How do you feel about that?
Awesome.
Sweet.
Super awesome. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
I'll share.
Amy, you want to share? Yay.
Mine we've done this previously, but they were still white, but then I could see some silver and some sparkles in it. And it really still does reach around the world. Like I'm hugging the world with my wings.
Wow. Your wings are really big.
They really are.
That's beautiful. How do you feel about that?
Good. Yes, I accept.
You accept.
Wait. I'm getting there.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. Do I have anybody else who wants to share? All right. Well, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for participating. And you're invited to come next week. I am going to post this video. It will be on YouTube and it will be on Facebook, so you can share it. If you feel like this is something that could serve somebody else, feel free to share it. And I guess what I'll do right now is just wrap this up, and I will see you all next week. Just watch for that link in your email, and if you have trouble, let me know, and I'll make sure that you get what you need. Okay, I love you all. I'll talk to you next week.
Yes.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.